Good morning. Happy Friday. How y'all doing today? I'm doing great. Almost a little late starting the show, aren't I? Well, look at that. I try so hard to be here right at 9. Right at 9. Missed it by a minute. Sorry about that. Kind of recovering from running to the chair. How y'all doing? Happy Friday to you. What a great way to kick off the weekend with the pit stop, hanging out with you good people, and just talking sim racing. Not a ton going on. I have a few stories or a few things to talk about today. Not a ton. So in my posting on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, I did mention, hey, if you have questions about sim racing, you have questions about the Simpit, you have questions for Sean Cole, that is one of the reasons I do the pit stop. Sure, I'm here to always talk sim racing news and what's going on in the world of sim racing. And I'm always here to enjoy a cup of coffee and hang out with my good friends, you people. But I am here also just to entertain conversation questions. And I might not always have the answers, but our audience members might. And we've had some great conversations where, you know, one of the things I say about me in sim racing, been doing this a very long time, and I might truly be the jack of all trades, the master of none. I know a lot about a lot of things in sim racing, but there are people who are junkies for particular products. You know, maybe you're in the Sim Magic ecosystem and you know every detail because you are, you know, already on the wheel, you're using it every single day, and the pedals, and even thinking about another one. You people, we people, I do mean Tom Jones, we people. Amir has a question for Sean. All right, what is it? What is it, Amir? Have you sent it yet? Is that the question? All right, so anyway, that is one of the reasons I always introduce, you know, the opportunity to hit questions here, because there could be somebody who has even a better answer than I would, and I'm the first one to bow down to people who know more than I. I'm always trying to get smarter. I'm always trying to learn. I never claim to be the know-it-all on just about anything. You heard that no, okay, so you heard wrong. Amir heard that I'm trying to beat, I gave up on trying to beat Amir, and that is not true. Amir has pulled out all the stops and is making it very difficult to beat him. However, I am far from throwing in the towel. Callum, that is a great question. That is a great question. How about at the end of the show, I answer that very question? I'll answer that at the end of the show. All right? So, anything else? Any other questions? And just because I turn to the news does not mean it. Do not ask questions. You are free to interrupt this show anytime. This is built purposely to be a train wreck. How does Sean feel about esport F1 drivers sitting on top of the car to race? All right, that's a great question. That's actually a great topic of discussion, Dan DiMaggio. I feel that should be locked out. I think that they shouldn't even have that as an option. I think that if you want to compete on the esport level of sim racing and call it the esport level of sim racing, then that requires a cockpit view. Now, the key word there being sim racing, where do we draw the line? If we were talking about Rocket League, you know, if we were talking about any other, you know, type more gamey scenario, then I retract that statement. So, Tom Jones coming in with the $2.
Very nice.
I'm going to be really honest with you guys, because that's something I like to do as well. I was actually contacted by Pimax about testing out the crystal, and they wanted to send me one and wanted to get things going with us. And I am, like, really, we talked about this on the last podcast. I really want to get back into VR, but I kind of want to do it at a certain level. The only way I could possibly run the Pimax is if I do a computer upgrade. My current system, which runs 1080 just fine, would never be able to run the Pimax. Me and Joe did the math on pixels this morning, and it was really, really, yeah, a lot of pixels. So, with that, I would like to do that, and Tom Jones getting us one step closer. All right, if you ain't third person, then you're just a noob. Joe asks, Sean, your arm hurts after you got a shot. Should you cut it off? You know, my initial thought is no. Now, I could be wrong, and I don't claim to be the authority on anything. So, Murano, Tony, what are you doing, buddy? VR is the place to be. Yes, it's just a little expensive. To do VR right is an expensive thing. Tell them yes, and then just sell it. That is not how I operate, Tom Jones. I do not do that well at all. Junior, you retracted your question. Oh, which is your best P1000s and VX Pros? They bring slightly different things to the table, Junior. I think that there is something a little more simplistic about the P1000s in the way that they are built and assembled. There's, maybe not quite as much adjustment, but with that, there's also less to go wrong. I think the P1000s look a lot better than the VX Pros. So I think what the VX Pro do is give you a lot of pedal for a little money, but then, you look at things like the pedal faces, the pedal arms, the P1000s with their anodized CNC machined pieces are just absolutely beautiful. So I don't think that there's a big difference. I mean, I don't think you could go wrong with either set, to be honest with you. George Sandman. So George, can I ask what? Oh, George Sandman. Hey, George. Just out of curiosity,
what
very
nice.
Are you running the Crystal on? And then, like, can you run it at 100%? Or, I mean, talking to Joe, we were kind of, like, coming to the conclusion that maybe even with a supercomputer, you're only looking at 80% of ability of what the Pimax can actually do. Thank you very much, George. Big appreciation. $22 towards new computer, and I am taking that rather seriously. I'm actually, to be truthful with you guys, the budget of this show is very, very tight, and but I'm always looking to take us forward, always looking to take us that next level. So, I do have some gear. Some of it's getting a little old even, and like, maybe I'd be better off getting rid of it before it became obsolete gear in an attempt to, get towards upgrading the computer and then, being able to do a Pimax review of quality and maybe even, get back to running in VR more often. Bears Junkie loves his P1000. They're great pedals. I am right now, and when we get to the Simpit and what's going on with the Simpit, I'll talk a little bit about Sim Magic in a minute here. Caitlin Pfeiffer, technical question. Is there a way to properly set up 4 screens as triples? Effectively want to use 2 standard wide screens. I believe, I think you can, Caitlin. If I'm not mistaken, when I've done the NVIDIA, so I've had, like, confusion. I use 4 screens, but not for the surround. I use 3 of them for the surround, and then 1 of them as a secondary screen. But yeah, I believe in NVIDIA, I could have just as easily made that a 4th screen in my surround. Now, differing resolutions might become a little bit of a difficulty. You're gonna have to find your common denominator. Tony, you're still using that Rift, and honestly, I got the Rift S, and it's really I almost in some ways wish we could trade. I felt like the original Rift with the stations tracking it tracked better than the Rift S with the internal tracking. I mean, I've never read whether I'm right or wrong on that thinking, but my thinking is so. Dan DiMaggio, that's a great idea. Our current business model is trending away from sponsorship, but I also feel like I am totally okay with sponsorship as long as it doesn't bias the show. So I don't really want to take, wheel and rig sponsors, but like, Harry's Razors, that'd be great. A computer, I don't see a problem with having a computer company of some sort, and it would probably be worth the effort to see if we could get something sent our way. So yes, thank you, Dan. Great idea. Merry Christmas to everybody. I saw George and Tom exchanging. Merry Christmas, happy holiday season to everybody. Tom Jones, great question. My New Year's what's your New Year's resolution? Tom's is 1440p. That's great. In my discussions earlier with Joa about resolution, I confessed I still run in 1080. And I'm going to be very honest with you. Every time I switch my computer, because this computer has the capability to do that for sure, to 1440, I have to tell you, I don't like it. There's something about 1440 that it creates a distance. The scaling just doesn't work for me, and I actually prefer 1080. And saves me like, 10-15% in frame rates. I stay there, and it also works well for streaming because we're still streaming at 1080. So my next jump will be to 2840 or whatever, Pimax or VR resolution would be. Tony, great, we agree. Great minds, Tony. Okay, you guys are talking that. Great. Thank you, Dan. Thank you. But it's also, I think the way things are trending is away from direct sponsorship and more to other models. But yeah, I agree. I want to have just a no argument, awesome, unbiased show with no questions whatsoever. I like that concept. Oh, awesome. Hey, Caitlin, this in from Joa. Joa, you're so awesome. Joa is one of the greatest community members that we have. So this is just showing, that's not 4 screens wide in terms of 4 little screens, but it is 4 screens of resolution. That is not Joa's rig, by the way, but that just shows you what you can do. There's kind of very little limitation, I think, to what you can do when it comes to that. So very cool. Thank you, Joa. Thank you for that quick style on the fly. Get things back in order here. Yeah, I prefer 1080. That's just me. And Dan, I am going to take advantage of that idea, though, and that could be a great answer to get into the Pimax sooner than or having to raid the Simpit storage unit. Yeah, Bears, it can totally be done. My monitors are 1440. I actually have to fight with my machine to make it do 1080, to be honest with you. It tries very, very, very hard. No, I've talked to the manufacturer, Tony, and my 2080 Ti will not run the Pimax. This is actually the second time I've contacted. The first time they contacted, I confessed to them that I had that card. And then now they've come back and asked again, hey, have you upgraded? Because we love your show. We'd like to work with you. And so that's what kind of prompted this whole discussion, actually. So 1440 for life. George runs a 2080 tie with his crystal. No way. So it can be done. I think that's like right on their minimum, if I'm not mistaken. Fascinating. Well, it is time, this is a tech show. We are trying to be the gurus of sim racing here, and I think it is important that we maintain a certain level, with or without VR, without, and this isn't even going to 1440, but I will say that every time that iRacing does an update, and even though iRacing's requirements are very low and it will work on just about any system, I do want my footage to look amazing, and so we're getting there to where this conversation was going to happen with or without the topic of the Pimax. So, and again, me, I'm just open and very honest and transparent with you guys. I don't try to act like anything's different than it is. It is what it is. All right. You guys keep the questions and conversations coming on. I'm going to start introducing some news topics, but don't let it stop, because I can stop all the way throughout the news to continue this banter, conversation, questions and answers and all that stuff. So keep it all coming. I love seeing the chat running live when we're going like this, and it all makes the show better. So keep it all coming. All right, let's start with what's going on here at the Simpit. I have 2 shows that come out in the last 2 days. Show before that was only 9 days ago. Amir had a show 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, a month ago. We're on fire. Amir and I are working our fingers to the bone, working our asses off, and we are doing everything to keep you guys entertained, keep a balance to the show, and just keep this thing going and going strong. So this week we had the SimGrade VX Pro. So Junior was asking VX Pro versus P1000 pedals. Great question, by the way. Joe, I don't know if they want competition in that arena. I think I'd have a better luck just telling them I'm testing a Pimax and I need their help. So, anyway, the VX Pro pedals. Here, we'll go through my goofy intro. I would imagine you can. George can be the answer. Like I said, George knows. We always have experts. Oh, 3080 tie. Okay, that's well within their specs. That's pretty much the card I think I'm maybe eyeballing. Or at first I thought I was going to get away with just a video card update. But then in talking, it would be like just barely band-aiding my way through. And reality is, it's time to take this computer, put it in the second spot, put this one that's in the second spot in the third spot, take the third spot and give it to a friend, and put in a new race machine. That's where I'm really at. That's what I really have to be thinking. So, anyway, really amazing pedals, these VX Pro pedals. As awesome and super awesome and mechanical marvels they are, hey, you know what? They are absolutely more complicated. So that's the big difference, I think, between that and the P1000 and who would benefit from which ones. I think that some people want and need to be able to tweak and tune and change everything, get at everything. That would be the person for these, and some people want to fire and forget, and I think that the P1000s are probably the better pedals in that department. But then bang for buck and shipping and all that can come into play as well. Anyway, very impressive pedals. For the money, I was blown away. My favorite variation of these, hands down, is to keep it on the low end of the price spectrum. So to me, the best way to do the SimGrade pedals would literally to buy the 2-pedal set. As soon as you start adding clutches and adding all the other things, the price does go up, and then it brings others into comparable pricing. But I don't think you can beat the gas and brake. So if you don't need a clutch, or you don't have to have it immediately. It was really interesting, Tom. That heel thing, that heel swivel was a trip. Look at that. At first, it was startling. At first, it was really odd. And then I started to get pretty used to it. And then it was like, okay, if I had the right angle, it would require the right angle. If you had it, you would never have a more locked-in feeling. I guarantee you that. Like you'd feel like you were one-to-one, like wearing clip-in pedals on a bicycle almost. Yeah, I can ask Bears. I don't know if I think there might be a slight difference in the power of the name of the Simpit versus boosted media. So I have no doubt that they sent boosted media a 4090 for the asking. If you don't ask, they can't say yes. And all they can do is say no. And I am no worse for wear. As I said in the review, Tom, I would not buy any of the add-ons for those pedals until after I had installed them on my rig and found out if I needed it. Exactly, Bears, and that's exactly why I have to ask. If you don't ask, they can't say no. If you don't ask, they can't say yes. So, absolutely. And Tom, to finish answering your question, I would wait because I think that the heel thing is a nice thing if you have discomfort. I know some people get like shin splint kind of discomfort when they're driving, or maybe they get calf or heel issues while driving for extended periods. I think if you're in that scenario, that it would be worth a try. They're not cheap. They're $70 each. So I wouldn't just go run out and get them, especially if I'm on a budget. It was interesting. I don't know. It's hard for me to answer. I mean, I can tell you this, that if you got used to it, it would be really weird going back to normal pedals. I can tell you that. Same thing for this slide off the heel, the pedal side support. If your feet don't fly off the sides, then there's no reason to buy that. The other thing is, if you buy those heel pivots, it did make heel-toe shifting literally impossible. So for me, we're only talking about the formula version or the two-pedal only version. And I don't suppose you need it on both the same way, so you could buy it one and do some testing before you bought two. It's unique. It's cool. Bears, I'm not sure if you heard me. I run 3 computers here. I have a race machine, a streaming machine, and an editing machine. Ultimately, they just get rotated down one. So the race machine would probably become the editing machine. The streaming PC would probably stay where it is. And then the third computer would be gifted or sold. Hi, Maxie. What's up, puppy? Far from puppy. And then the other video that came out just this morning, by the way, is this. So, in fact, the intro here is very sincere. This is a very sincere intro to this show. I'm going to just let it roll. Can you guys hear it? Here we go. Can you guys still not hear it, huh? Oh, that's my volume. Oh, wait, hold on. Bear with me. Sorry, forgive me. Sorry. Alright. Here, I'm going to put the volume down so I don't blow you guys away. Nope, that's not the right one still. It calls it something different every time, depending on...
I was a little bit heartbroken, and this
Okay.
is why. I
There we
first
go.
heard the news that Mosa Racing was going to be replacing the R16 and the R21 wheelbases. I have to tell you, I was a little bit heartbroken, and this is why. I was convinced in my mind that they were going to stick those wheels into the same square-looking base as the R12, the R9, the R5, etc., and that Mosa was going to have converted their lineup to what basically makes all direct drive wheelbases look the same. A black box. They all are just a black box. And not that that means they don't function perfectly, but just sometimes I like things to be a little bit more stylish, and I think that's one of the reasons I always loved the R16 and the R21 so much, was because they had that sleek, totally race car inspired body or shape to them, and making them truly unique and the best looking direct drive wheels on the entire sim racing market. Well, this is the new R21, so we now know for sure that they have kept the cool...
There we go. So that was very exciting for me, because when I heard that they were replacing them, I thought for sure they're going to come in that Xbox shape that they do. Yes, Tom, it totally reminds me of the Borg or Star Wars, like Death Star vibe, something. That's why I like that tile pattern. So yeah, Mosa has updated the R16 and the R21, and I saw in the comments one person, I didn't reply to it yet, but they're like, well, that really sucks for people who have V1. And I thought, yeah, that's true, but you know, I have a 2023 Adventure 2020. What year is my bike? Shit, I can't remember anything anymore. I have a 2020 Adventure 390, and the 2023 came with spoked wheels. So, you know, that sucks for me, but that's also just kind of part of it. I mean, you can never pick the right time. They're always going to upgrade, always going to move forward. Which one do you mean specifically, Dan? Where I just kind of ranted for a while before I got right to the product? Or did you mean the intro for this one?
Only 1.4% of men know this secret. To transform their little soldier
No,
into a war
Callum,
machine.
I think they've gotten rid of the orange,
So what do I want from a set of pedals if I'm upgrading? I mean, of course they need to be bulletproof. That's just a basic. I'm going to need them to have high-end electronics and built on a robust load cell. That's a must for sure. And tunability or adjustability. Oh yes, I need to dial these pedals exactly the way I want them to move and feel. But what about even more exotic options like carbon fiber or hydraulics? There are so many choices. And what about money? What is my budget? To achieve all of that could cost a pretty penny. And then there are so many choices.
Dan, so the whole Mosa video, I'm sort of doing a little of this right now. I am trying to do a lot less scripted recording than I used to do. I like writing some bullet points and then just kind of going with it, and not holding myself to quite the same standards of perfection that I've been doing for quite some time. I think it started... there was this thing going on for me for many years that the worst thing in the world to me, like if you just wanted to, like the worst thing for me doing my job was when I'd read the comments on a video and someone would say, oh, you didn't mention this, or you didn't answer that. And sometimes it'd be from the manufacturers themselves. They contact you and say... And so for like years and years and years and years of the Simpit, I had like this 100% record and or batting 1,000, and I just almost never got that comment or that question or email from anyone. And it was a pride of honor for me that it meant that I was doing my job right, to just give you every piece of information you could possibly want or need. But then it became so very scripted that it wasn't as engaging as it could be. And that's when I started playing with the idea of getting rid of the script. Now, the downside of that is if you freestyle it, you really, really take the risk of missing some things and maybe even saying something wrong. You heard Logitech love the G27 review. You want to know when it really... So this is when it occurred to me. I hope you guys don't mind that I do these rabbit holes. This is Subie Fest. I'm going to show you when and why I made a choice to change things up a little bit.
So here we are, Santa Anita Park, just north of Los Angeles, outside of Pasadena. Santa Anita Racetrack, a historic horse racing track. It is off-season, and we are today in the parking lot of Santa Anita for Subie Fest 2023. So the big question is, do you like Subarus? Because if you do, just gonna look at what's going on out here today. We've got Subarus in every color, every shape, every model, every era, every decade of Subarus. You've got endless amounts of performance shops with their own booths, selling anything from exhaust to turbos to anything. And we got Learning Center.
And sleeping solutions.
Oh, storage and we got a demo on storage and sleeping solutions coming up. So if you want to have one of those rooftop tents on your Subaru, they're going to show you how to get that taken care of. Like you said, I've been seeing anything from detailing supplies, performance shops, Motul oil. You've got tuning shops. You've got Sparco. You've got clutch companies, you've got gearbox companies, brake companies, turbo companies. Anything you could possibly want to bolt onto your Subaru, it's probably here. And just Subaru fans by the thousands on what turned out to be a really nice day. It was going to be incredibly hot. We got some fog rolled in, a little humid, but it's kind of nice actually. So I'm just here checking out the cars, checking out everything going on, and seeing some pretty cool stuff so far.
Okay, I know I played that a little long. Obviously, that was unscripted, freestyle, just calling the moment. All right? Now, I didn't have anything I had to hit, like a price or a availability date or, resolution or Newton meters. I didn't have any extra shit to remember when doing it. But still, when I watched that video, and this is the transition that I'm going to show you why I'm doing this or why we're talking about it. Because this is where it went downhill.
The event reached a fever pitch with adrenaline-pumping competitions, adding a competitive edge to the festivities. First on the list was the autocross competition,
So when I watched
where
this
daring
video,
drivers showcased their skills.
I didn't
maneuvering
enjoy
through a
this
challenging
part
course to claim top honors
as much.
and the coveted awards.
This
Amidst
is
the roar of
scripted, I
engines
wrote it
and
all,
cheers
and
from
it
the crowd,
encompasses what
dyno
I
horsepower
witnessed and what I
competition
experienced at
thundered on
Subie
as
Fest
well.
very well.
Participants
No
pushed their
problem.
Subarus to the limit,
But
vying
my
for the highest
presentation
horsepower and the thrill of victory. But
became
that wasn't
boring.
even the
It
loudest
became
thing at Subie.
Because if you
not
do,
hanging out with my
just
friends,
gonna look at what's
which is the
going
whole
on out
point
here
of the
today.
Simpit.
We've got Subarus in every color, every...
Does that make sense? I think it does. It does to me a little bit. So that is what that particular video and that transition right there is what made me think I need to break this. So I've been doing it. Now it's not 100%, and it's not all the time. But yes, that's the direction, the way I'm thinking and moving. The other one's funny, but you love your OG. Yeah, well, we're bringing back OG. It felt natural. Thank you. What up, Sean Seabrand? How you doing, buddy? Pro Sim Racing. Rant wig. Where is the rant wig? You know, I've been trying to rant a little less often, or at least keep it when I really, really have a point, something I really want, deserving of a rant. But I should bring back the rant wig. All right. what else? Let me catch up with you guys and then we'll move along. Tom Jones would love more videos in the style of Subie video, like motorcycle or 240Z videos. Okay, like what else is going on in the Sean Cole world? I always try to keep things a little minimalist on you know, my life, not, and it's not a privacy thing. It's just that I'm not sure how much it applies or how much, but relevant. I wanted to do both of my motorcycle trips. It's so hard to document your life when you're doing it to enjoy the moment, if you know what I mean. Thank you, Joe. Makes sense. Yeah, that's exactly, Tom. It sounds like I'm just reading, which is kind of what I'm doing, and it's not as fun. It's not as fun. It's not as personal. It's not as bro. Yeah. Billy Strange, how you doing? You want the wig. We'll bring back the wig. My clone. More bike videos. Well, unfortunately, it just, this morning I woke up, it was 39 degrees. I think we're going to have some minimal amount of riding over the next couple months here, unfortunately. Yeah, there was a moment where I was thinking of, I just don't have the budget to do it, so I'm not, but I was thinking of creating a channel for the 240Z and starting to bring sort of a restoration channel for the 240 along, and that still might be in the works come this spring. Yeah, I can't, Sean. I've been trying for years, and I can't read a script without sounding like I'm reading it, so we're throwing it out. Perfect video. Can I ride in 39 degrees? Mad Otter. Waiting to see if Sean can remember who you are. Mad Otter. No, I do not recall Mad Otter. I am very sorry. Can you enlighten me? Matt, it's warm. That's 39 is warm. All right. Not for me. I'm old and weak. All right. So, have you guys tried out any of the new content in iRacing? So, what? Wednesday? Is Wednesday when it happened? Where was Subie? Subie Fest happened in 6 or 8 different cities across the country. I went to the one in Santa Anita, aka Los Angeles, or Southern California. Hey, Ian, how you doing? I'm terrible with names. Great with faces. Terrible with names. Yeah, Tom, that would be good. I mean, maybe some, like, Lemons Racing and stuff would be good, too. 240, who knows? You could always cross-pollinate. Teleprompter works better, and I've done that in the past. But I still find it to be reading. What I need to do is, I think the perfect thing for me is, let's call it David Letterman style. Just give me an index card with like a handful of bullet points, and I usually use a monitor in the room with those bullet points. But ultimately, give me a note card with just a handful of things to remember so I know I don't forget. And then from there, I should be able to freestyle everything from that moment on. That would be ideal, and probably the way I should lean. And I should not even be shy about the card. Just hold it, again, just like David Letterman. And yep, that's what I've been doing more and more of, Dan. And we're eventually going to transition to like 90%. You know, certain things you'll need to. You know, I do the pros and cons, or the good and the not so good. All of that will you know, obviously need to be somewhat scripted out. There might be certain sections where it's just easier if it's like instructional to go through the steps like that instead of trying to describe it. But yeah, I'm done. Scripts start to annoy me. Maybe if I was on like a really strict timeline. But the other thing is scripts also take a long time to write. So when you look at the backlog, and maybe that's one of the reasons why production's a little bit higher for the Simpit now, is I'm not writing as much material. And the writing process really slowed me down. Tom Jones, so I think I deleted it. I did a... I can't remember. If Amir's here, maybe he'll remember. I did that once. So I did a Chat GPT script, and then I went and found a voice generator and had it done in a British accent, I believe is what I chose. And I did the entire intro that way. And I edited it all out. And then I showed it to Amir, and he looked at me like I told the worst dad joke in the world. So, the rap video, the rap video is one of my big disappointments. I thought, and not because I thought it was good, I thought the rap video would at least get a few people to think it was funny and share it, but it only got 1,800 views, which I didn't care. I didn't care if it had 10,000 views and every one of them said "you suck." I would have been fine with that, by the way. But yeah, it was a capital terrible. You mean the intro, the British intro, right, Amir?
I spend my precious time. I'm a middle-aged gamer with a passion burning bright.
All right. It wasn't good, but I thought at least it would get clowned. I thought it would get clowned enough to get some traction. So, all right. Hey, can we not have this conversation, IMB and Amir? Can we not have this conversation live? Callum, thank you. Thank you. Joe says that video is only losing me subs, so you're thinking I should pull it. What content? That's a great question, Tom Jones. I honestly would like to see over 10,000 views on every video. I honestly don't feel it's very fair that we're under that. So, now, saying that, if you were to look at our history of views, would make you think I'm extremely disappointed on every day. And maybe there is even a little of that truthfully going on. But yeah, I would like to see 10,000 views per video as a minimum. I mean, if we want to make this a viable channel, it's going to take those kind of numbers. I put a lot of work into videos, so when you put a lot of work into a video and it only gets you 1, 2, or 3,000 views, it's. I mean, I'm flattered that 1, 2, or 3,000 people watched it, but it's not sustainable, which is my goal. So, as flattering as it is, you know, it's only temporary. Heel and Toe, thank you so much for saying so, and you're very, very welcome. Caitlin, that's a great idea. Just do a Freaky Friday with Gamer Muscle. I'm sure we could come up with some very clever stuff to do there. Especially like James is brilliant when it comes to clever. So, here's a joke. It's worse than FedEx. Coax. You know, Amir, you're not the first person to say that. Random question for Sean. What piece of hardware has excited you the most in 2023? I love that question, Tom. Yeah, Dan, I know. It's so poetically unjust. Yeah, I know, Billy. It's so... Yeah. If we keep on this topic, I'm gonna need this camera and a wig. Oh, it wasn't? Oh, no, that was Ian's question. I'm sorry. Well, that's an easy one. If Ian's asking, that's a really easy question to answer.
We've all got a wild side.
Feed it with meat.
Despite having so many over the years, they've all gotten faded. They've all got kind of cracked logos, and they're kind of starting to look a little on the shabby side of things. Well, luckily, we've joined forces
Sean
with
Seabrand,
IMB
that's
Raceware
exactly
to
it.
solve exactly that problem. To take things from this to this. Doesn't this look a whole lot better? Doesn't this look a little more professional while I'm presenting or doing a review? Don't I look a little more like a pro racer? And while we're out there racing, instead of looking like this, we can now look like this. And on top of that, IMB...
All right, so the most, you know, I am sitting on a D-Box platform that has been really, really awesome. But I haven't reviewed it yet, but it's been under me for quite some time. I also have to confess, you know, I have always been truthful about everything. The Sim Experience wheelbase was my all-time favorite wheelbase. So we had a sponsorship deal with them for quite some time, and then it ended. And with it, I just sort of started freestyling wheels everywhere and trying different wheels all the time and jumping around. Because of the competition with Amir and building my forever rig, I purposely talked to Rick Motek and got a mini mite wheelbase. And this is probably going to blow you guys away a little bit, but it's only like, what, 6 or 8 Newton meters. It's not a heavyweight. The mini mite wheelbase is like, you know how you get a BMW? BMWs are awesome, but then you take them to Denon, and you get performance upgrades, or you buy a Porsche and you take it to Roof or Grambala or whatever. The mini mite is like a tuned Sim Experience base. That is now what's back on my rig, and I will have a review on this coming soon. That maybe because it has me driving my favorite wheel. Just that is my favorite wheel and wheelbase. They're all very similar. They're, you know, I'm not trying to trash anything, but that would probably be also one of my most exciting products for 2023. Other ones that I think have been very exciting is I think that the Rumble motors, which I'm currently working on and testing on the P1000 pedals, are revolutionary. You know, we had little shaker motors on like Fanatic Club Sport pedals and things, but this is like the legit. I've been playing and testing with those, and you know, these are the kind of the next level things that we're going to be getting into in the next years of sim racing, which I think is really cool. The active pedal, which I still haven't tried, but am just kind of blown away by where things are in sim racing. So yeah, the things that I'm excited. I'm also excited about other things, little things like the fact that like Next Level Racing with the GT Racer at $400 made a rig that is like truly affordable for people entering the market. I really appreciate that Mosa Racing made the R3 bundle, making sim racing affordable, like at the high level to the new market. So it's not always about the most expensive, most glorified thing. Sometimes it's about just that our industry is keeping it right and doing it right. So there you go. It's my D in a box. Yes, yes. Oh. Yeah, Sean, exactly. Yeah, we want to do our best and our most, but it isn't rewarded. So you know, I think that's been a battle I've been having, is with adjusting the show to what is successful versus what my image of what it should be. And just, I should be the Penn and Teller, fool us. The two magicians will not have seen this type of quick change. Yeah. Snap. I do like everything Sean sized, that's for sure. Correctly sized. Yes, exactly. You appreciate China for actually making some good stuff. There you go. All right, all right. I think we've done well. Is that right, Amir? Is that right? All right. So this week is week 13. The end, coming up on the end of week 13 in iRacing, which means it's update time of year. We did not see the rain, but we did see the new Audi R8 LMS. I drove this car quite a bit, actually. Actually, I drove this car quite a bit at Mugello. What do you know? I really like the Audi. This car looks and sounds and drives pretty nice. I didn't switch to a different GT3 for comparison's sake, but it was a cool car. Just another GT3 rounding out that class. And I will give iRacing credit, because I know every time somebody hears about a new car, they're like, cha-ching, cha-ching, more money. At least in the GT3 class, you don't have to, I mean, you only need one, and what are they up to, like 8 of the cars now? So, you know, you don't have to buy it. You don't even have to like it, but there it is, the Audi R8. Oh, Chris, you've missed all sorts of great conversation. We are only on our first news. We're only on iRacing, which is usually our first topic, and we're an hour into the show. That's what you missed today. It's been just a lot of conversation, question, answer, just sim racing chat, talk, BS. Yes, Sean Seabrand. AMS2 stuff is on sale on Steam right now, like 60% off, I think I saw. Ian, you should put them in touch with me. I'll modify a set of pedals to make it work. Alright, let's see here. What else from iRacing? Oh, yeah, so in addition, we had Okayama. I haven't done this yet. Okayama received an extensive artwork overhaul for the 2024 season release. No charge on that one, by the way. What else? Here, wait. Slinger Speedway. Have not tried this one yet. I'm going to try this probably today. World's fastest quarter-mile oval. Slinger. Look at it. Banked. Paved. Oh, yeah, that's going to be fast. Dave Deja. Sim Racing BS. That's the whole point of this show. I used to even have that word in the title. Dan, you wouldn't believe this. I'm actually talking to Fanatic right now. Fanatic and I are working on getting some things going. Oh! Little crisscross action. The overhaul was the dirt oval in particular, right? Isn't that correct? If I'm not mistaken, Chris. I have not tested and tried it out. How'd I miss? But Mugello. Where's Mugello? Where's Mugello? Oklahoma? Where's Mugello? Yes, Mugello also is part of the release, and I've turned a bunch of laps there as well. I love that track. It's one of my favorite tracks, Mugello. I think it's just really, really fun to drive, and it's been a shame that it hasn't been in iRacing. I understand the delay because it's not necessarily like a normal track. What doesn't Ferrari own Mugello, if I'm not mistaken? So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it's a real motor. It is substantial. I was only running mine on like, I don't know, 30-40%, and it was more than enough. So yeah. All right, moving right along. R Factor has a release of. So, after a period in beta, the brand new R Factor 2 online experience is now in main branch for everyone to play. Fun, regular, and varied daily races for all talent and experience levels, driver and safety rankings, free content when you register. So, that is good. Has Simpit made SimRace Christmas gift guide? Nobody would mind if SimRace gloves appeared there. Great idea, Andres. I have been so backed up on straightforward reviews and trying to get back to working on this rig in my build-off with a mirror that I completely missed the boat on like buyer's guides and all of that kind of stuff, and now we're already at the 8th of December. Dave Deja. If I had to buy a set of pedals for under $600, what would I buy? I would probably throw out a handful of candidates, and I'd be leaving 3 or 4 others that I would mention. $600, you have a fair amount of pedals to choose from. I don't know. Are you talking about a 2-pedal set or a 3-pedal set? Because, like, if you have a $600 budget and you were willing to buy just 2 pedals, it totally changes things. From the companies that sell them as 2-pedal sets. Anyway, the P1000s are great pedals for the money. I've been very happy with those. I like certain features about them that are nice, and I love that they're upgradable. So if you just bought a base set, you could get in on that budget, and then if later you wanted to add the hydraulic mod just for the sensation, you could. If you wanted to add the haptics, you could. If you wanted a little bit more complicated, and I would even say higher end pedals,
see everything
but
from miles away.
not
with
as
this powerful
fancy,
U.S. Special Forces
then
device.
I would
this
probably
new military
look into these VX Pro pedals that I just tested. I was blown away by them. They're really awesome pedals. I wish I could tell you Simtrax, because they're maybe my favorite pedals ever, but they're $1,000, so that wouldn't work. Yeah, Ace Attack, I've heard decent things, but I've also heard some mediocre things about the Ace Attack pedals. But I'm just passing on what I've heard because I have not tried them. That's not true. I did try a set briefly, but I wasn't doing them in the capacity of a reviewer. I was just having fun doing some sim racing, and I later realized that they were those pedals. So, yeah. The Green Hell is coming to Assetto Corsa Competizione. Yeah, the VNM, I have heard great things about the VNM pedals, and I have not tried them. I've heard good things about the VRS pedals, and I have not tried them. You know, there are a lot of really good sets of pedals, and I mean, even if if you go to the Simpit and Let's see. The Giro Sim XR, I remember those. Those were really good pedals. I don't remember their price. The DIY Sim Studio pedals. The CRPs, I would definitely... Those are good pedals, but I would go to the P1000s over them. P2000s, I think, are out of your price range. They're fantastic pedals. GT Pros are too expensive for sure. Well, these are under your budget. P1000i are going to be out of your budget, but the regular should fit in your budget. VX Pro we just talked about. There are the Simtrax. The Talento, I think that's out of your price range. T3 is under. Real Gear, that's what I run. Husingveld Mod. Club Sport. That's Devon on the GT Pro pedals. Racecore. Oh, yeah. I remember the Racecore. The Venom. HPP. Oh, those are amazing pedals. Alright. Yeah. Lots of choices out there, you guys. So Green Hell coming soon to Assetto Corsa Competizione. Let's see. I'm catching up to your guys' chat. Forgive me. Tom Jones. It was on the tip of my tongue and now I can't remember him. Logitech with a cork. IMB pedals. Bungee cord pedals, we've been there. Alright, so Race Room has some new content coming out. They've got the DTM 2023 car pack this December, and in it will also be the Audi R8 LMS GT3, wink wink nudge nudge iRacing, and the Ferrari 296. Is that not just a gorgeous car? Man, I have just always loved this car shape. That, yeah, 296. Look at that beauty. All right, that's all coming to Race Room. Automobilista has an update that just occurred. This is a couple days ago. 1.5.3.5 is now live. Another complimentary update to the latest release, pushing to address some of the remaining physics and AI issues and performance discrepancies. And there is a change log or an update list at Steam for what's gone on. Some general, some physics, some AI, track, and vehicle updates included. Rensport had a patch as well. This is patch notes for beta 1.6.1 are now live. And there's nothing there. And then I looked and people are like, well, that was a bit anticlimactic. Because, yeah, it didn't have a link to anything. There was nothing there at all. So I did go to their website and I was able to find the actual beta notes for this one. Some physics updates for the 911, in particular, global track changes, Hockenheim ring specific. Liveries, they added some liveries, and that's it. So it was a little anticlimactic, it looks like. Sean, I almost want to do that with Mugello. Because every lap I turned in Mugello yesterday, I kept thinking I was in Assetto Corsa, even though I was in iRacing. Ian, the 296, this car shape, because you can even go back to when it was a cheaper Ferrari. So, wow, there it is. What was the original? Was it the 380? Was the 380 the original? 360. Was this shape not originally like the 360, the 360 Modena? And then it just kind of kept evolving, and then this is like the super raised C variation of the same body shape. I've loved it since the very, 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 very first version of it. True. I really have. So, all right. Simucube. 308. Yeah, I love the 308 too. Yeah, it's my favorite Ferrari. Hands down, that is my favorite Ferrari shape. So this is the Simicube taco round version. So if you saw the taco wheel and you thought, I love it, but I do so much rally and drift in NASCAR, it just doesn't work. So anyway, they now are round one. Available in stock in the EU now, and they're shipping in the US in January. Yeah, Ken, it's a really pretty car. Does the new Ferrari and iRacing feel less grippy than the 488? I don't know, but when I was driving the Audi, I thought it felt a little less grippy. It could be the new version versus the old version. Could be a rulebook change as well. I'm not 100% sure. I thought the elevation change in the new iRacing Mugello seemed better than other sims if accurate. I agree, Joe. It was a very, really, really good representation of that track. But it also made me appreciate how good the Assetto Corsa one is as well, to be honest with you. So, alright, what else? Mosa, we already talked about the new R21, R16 bases. I didn't mention in this, I mean, you guys can watch the review if you go back to the Simpit. So the reason for the update is the R16 and the R21 were the first two wheels they made, and they didn't have dual communication, wired and wireless. All of the new ones did. So this was making it so all the V2 wheels would actually work on the original models, the R16 and R21. Well, not the original, the V2 versions, we should say. Ian, I'll try to go back to that and try to get you that answer. So that is part of it. The other thing that they did, not only the updates... Oh, and then they made it front mount compatible as well. So the downside of the R16 and R21 was their bottom mount only. And now they made this cool front adapter that would make it work on like a P1 chassis or any other side mount option. That was another one of the things. And then the other is the extension. Now, I didn't need this now, and I have no use for an extension. But I have had rigs where this would have made all the difference in the world for me as far as getting my rig perfectly dialed in, getting the monitors exactly where I wanted. I could have used a 15 centimeter or 150 millimeter extension so many times throughout my sim racing career, so I really appreciate that. So yeah, that was what was going on with Mosa. And price is... They're making it very difficult, aren't they? $819. Yeah, that front mount, that's going to be a big deal. I think that a handful of people, when people make decisions about wheelbases, I feel that front and side mount is a necessity for some people. So even though the Mosa might be super stylish and cool looking, it doesn't work the way I want with my rig. So, alright. You guys, I gotta bring this show to a close. We are over the hour mark, and I need to take a break. So let's get things rocking and rolling here and try to close this one out and get our Friday underway. I got a lot of work to do. Actually, this is a perfect one to be here. David, you're not at PRI, are you? I really am upset that I'm not at PRI. I should have gone this year. I didn't have a job. I've been hired to work at PRI. And I didn't get a job this year, so I kind of wrote it off. And now I'm like, oh, wow, there's more sim racing at PRI than ever before. I really wish I had made it. I kind of regret it. But I had so much work going on and still do that I kind of have to keep going. Anyway, the hydraulic handbrake, there's some shots of that from Sim Magic. I have one here, and it's going to be under testing almost immediately. And so they're showing off their handbrake. I've got one. I'm going to tell you how it works. And we're also working on the Sim Magic P1000 pedals. It's not the pedals we're working on. It's actually all the mods. We've got the haptics. We've got the hydraulics. Everything but the light bar. So, Let's see. Speaking of PRI, GSI is at PRI. So GSI is going to be at Lucas Oil Stadium. All of the sim racing stuff is at the stadium. In the past, I think that's where they've done like the haulers and things like that. PRI is Performance Race Industries Trade Show. And it's everything that is racing. Engines, parts, exhaust, cars, seats, the works. I've been there a few times over the years, and it's a really cool show if you're into racing and racing parts. PR, and then you have a bunch of drivers running around in their driver suits because they're searching for sponsors. They are not showing a rim. They are not showing a rim, Joa. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Oh. Nope, 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 nope. So, anyway, PRI will be there, booth 9000 with their Hyper SL exclusive for PRI members. Cool. Price increases coming in 2024 to Cube controls. So they talked about how they've been kind of eating the price increases internally that have been going on. They've been eating and absorbing all of that, but in 2024, from January 8th on, most things will see an increase to pass those on to us finally. So, unfortunate, but understandable. All right, Simpit Rally League is now underway. It began 3 days ago. The first week in our championship number 5 in the Simpit Rally League. You have until the 12th to finish your stage at Rally Monte Carlo. And earlier in the show, I was asked, Sean, are you going to join the Simpit Rally? And the answer to that is yes, I am. In fact, let's go ahead and do that right now. I'm logged in proper. Join, active, join. So this is through RaceNet, and we have the Simpit Rally League going on. Join the Simpit Rally. Hardcore damage on, good. Scoring system, WRC, assists off. Bonus points on. No track degradation, and tuning is off. I am officially joining, and that gives me until the 12th. So I have 4 days to get my lap in for the Simpit Rally League. So I see no one's posted a time. If you guys want to do some rally racing with me and the Simpit guys, then you're going to want to get on RaceNet. And, 5th of January. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm in the wrong month. Panic almost set in. All right, you guys, that's why no one's going. So, yeah, January 5th is when things kick off. You saw that I just entered my name, threw my hat into the mix. And if you guys want to do some rally racing with me and the Simpit guys starting up next month, that is where you're going to want to do it. We have more information in the Discord. There's always a link to every pit stop in the description to our Discord, and that is where you would find more information on how to join our group there. On the oval side of things, this week, the Simpit Oval guys were at North Wilkesboro, and it was Calix Weitzel winning the race over David Clymer, with Donald Warren finishing in 3rd. And with those results, those are pretty much the standings. So you've got Calix Weitzel in 1st place, David Clymer in 2nd, Warren in 3rd. And it's actually a tie for 1st and 2nd. 188 points for both Calix and David Clymer. Donald Warren a little ways back in 3rd place as that series moves on to Homestead this coming Monday night. So our numbers are a little low. If you guys are looking for some oval racing, we have a really cool oval league running every Monday night. Hop on into our Discord channel. Links in the description below. And we have a section there for the Oval League. You'll find information on how to join that on iRacing. In the Simpit Road Series, I had such a terrible week. It was not a good week for me at Monza. I had cutting issues. I had a bunch of issues, starting with just not being prepared. Anyway, let's not talk about my day at Monza. Let's talk about Reinhard Heibel, who won the race. Congratulations to him. Excuse me. Oldest Puticlus finishing in 2nd. And Yves Kircher finishing in 3rd. That's in our pro class. In our amateur class, Chuck Labano wins the race. Zach Mosley finishing in 2nd. and Joseph Spacek finishing in 3rd place. So with those results in the pro class, Reinhardt is leading with a monstrous 303 points over 2nd place, Oldest Pudiclus with 272, and Neil McDougall in 3rd place, 225. A big shout out to congratulations to Joa holding 4th place in a very tough grid. Looking into our amateur class, Chuck Labano leading the way with 289 points. Joseph Spacek in 2nd, 255. And Ken Estep, way to go, Ken, sitting in 3rd with 247 points. Awesome job there. Check this out. We mentioned SimTrex pedals earlier. We mentioned the SimMagic haptics. Well, what if somebody was so bold as to combine the two? Yeah, those haptic motors could, where there's a will, there's a way. SimMagic created something wonderful, and there's no reason for people with other pedals not to enjoy the experience. So what this is actually from Joa, our very own Joa, has done his own SimTragic is the name of this pedal. It is the SimTragic pedal, and he's got his force feedback or his haptics being put through some pedals that they weren't originally intended for. So really, really clever, really, really awesome, Joa. Another community member. I'm always talking about our Discord channel. Link in the description below. We have a section in that Discord where I ask you to post your rig. And if you do post your rig, I am going to show it to the world so we can talk about your rig in particular. So this here was posted by JTZ, and you can see he's got his canopy action, blacking out the background, giving him that added immersion. I love it. And he's got a nice looking profile chassis. I love the doubled up elements here. This looks like his own build, by the way. I don't think this is a purchased kit. I think this is a custom profile, which is really awesome. Let's see. Wout just mounted up his handbrake to his shifter. You can see his Simpit magnets there on his rig as well. Nice looking setup. I like looking at rigs, as I'm building my forever rig as we speak. I like looking at rigs because I'm always looking at the way people did certain things, looking for motivation, inspiration on what I can do with my rig. So, yeah. Anyway, and that takes us to the general sim rigs category on Reddit. And then that's going to take us to the end of the show, actually. So here's a nice side-mounted Fanatic CSL. That looks pretty cool with the McLaren rim. It's a nice stout-looking chassis. Nice job with the monitor, too, by the way. I like that. Nice fold-up. That's a lot of wheel for a fold-up chassis. Where there's a will, there's a way, I say. Many people say. That looks like a GSI. Yep. Yep. Ooh, look at this setup. That's pretty cool. Another canopy. Canopies, I'm noticing canopies are getting very popular all of a sudden. Have you guys noticed that? Roller chair with the little holder. You see the holder for his roller chair? That is smart. Look at Next Level. They're so smart. Let's put a little tray to hold the wheels for desk chairs on a wheel stand. Brilliant! Interesting. So I just noticed, so this guy's got, I can't tell if it's an R16 or an R21. I can tell you that it's Generation 1 because it's got the light right there. This is their inexpensive wheel. So this is a classic case, and what I'm always telling, spend money where it's important, and save where it's not. And so if the rim's not important to you, but the base is a great way to save money. I mean, you could easily save $400 or $500 over buying a wheel that would be normally suggested for the R16 or R21. Yeah, canopies can add heat, but I also recommend getting some ventilation for sure. Canopies. Tony's building a new rig. He's getting back. All right, what else? What's his question? Can I mount Simagic wheelbase turn 90 degrees? Cable issue. I don't see why you couldn't mount it 90 degrees. But if you're going to do it, why wouldn't you go 180? Oh, because you'd have the same issue on the other side. I don't see why. There is a center function for the calibration on Simagic, so I don't see why you couldn't mount it at 90 degrees off. Pretty sure. DIY sim, WinSim, $55. After lurking Reddit and Facebook, when buy once, cry once, indeed. There's an upgrade. That is a big upgrade right there. Just roll down the window. There you go. There's the answer. Vertical offset. Oh my god, look at all that. Oh my god, somebody went off. Damn! That's cool looking. Look at that. Nice work. That's nice work. Incorporated a hand-built button box with an iFlag type display. I'm not sure if it's a total DIY or a purchase, but I like that. That looks cool. Alright, you guys. I think we have reached the end of the show. We've had a good show today. Some great questions, some great conversation, some great banter, which for me makes for a great pit stop. That's what it's all about. The whole reason Sean's free for the next few hours. I got to get back to work. I'm trying to crank out yet another video and another video and another video. So I really do have to get back to work for sure in order to keep that stream going. So, nope, I can't stay here all day. But I will be back. Sunday is our season finale from Le Mans. And I will be here Sunday morning to do some racing and hopefully have a better race than last week. And, hey, you too, Ian. Hey, everybody out there, thank you. Thank you for your time. It's a pleasure for me to be here sharing my time with you and vice versa. I really enjoy the pit stops. I enjoy our community. And this has always been a really great way for me to head into the weekend, because that's when I'm usually trying to get psyched up for some racing anyway. So, my pleasure being here, and another great show, and of course we'll be here next week. So, thank you for being part of it. Thank you for being part of the pit crew. Get out there, do some sim racing. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.